Okay, with this question here, we're testing this null hypothesis that the mu is 72.5. The alternative would be that mu is greater than 72.5. We believe the population is normally distributed, but we do not know the standard deviation. Sigma is unknown. Let me make that a little, because that's okay. Sigma is unknown. So we're going to use a t-test. Sample size is 35. So we're going to use a t-test. So our n is 35, and our x bar is 75, and our standard deviation for our sample is 7.5. So we will go to stat, our test. We're going to do a t-test, and we're going to input our statistics. So our null hypothesis is 72.5. X bar is 75. Standard deviation is 7.5. Sample size is 35. And now here's where I think the mistake was made. We're trying to prove that our alternative is greater than the null. I believe you did less than. And that is why when you compare your answer to the answer they got, it's the complement. 1 minus your answer will give you that answer because you put the wrong inequality. So when you calculate, we'll get a p-value, or its test statistic is 1.972. Our p-value is 0.02839 or 0.0284. Okay, just to show you, if you go back and do everything the same way, but change it to less than, it should give you all the same information, except that's how you got the p-value that you got. So just double check your inequality. This should be greater than, and then we'll calculate again, get that back. Okay, so our p-value is still greater than alpha because they give us an alpha value of 0.005, and this is going to be larger. So with that being said, our p-value is not low, so we don't reject the null. We're gonna fail to reject the null. Okay. So since we fail to reject the null, there's not sufficient evidence to show this. So generally speaking, your conclusion is always written in terms of the alternative hypothesis. So we could say something like, there's not sufficient evidence to show the alternative. There's not sufficient evidence to warrant the rejection of the claim. No, there's not sufficient evidence to warrant the rejection of the claim that the population mean is greater than 72.5. There is not sufficient evidence to support the claim that the population mean is greater than 72.5. That's the alternative. There's not sufficient evidence to show that. So that's going to be our answer.